Donegal and Kildare are the first teams in action on a very attractive double bill at Croke Park. And the starting time's 2:15 with Seamus Pryor of Leitrim, the referee. Well, it'll be Kildare's first appearance in the semi-final since 1983 when they played down. But it's been much longer since Donegal qualified, 22 years in fact, and that was when they played Offaly in the '69 semi-final. Well, it was their fourth semi-final of the 1960s and they were disappointed in all four. So they'll be hoping on Sunday to get to their first final. Well, looking back, it wasn't an easy passage to this semi-final. Now remember, they just squeaked past Offaly last Sunday. During the week, Mick Dunn met selector and former star Seamus Bonner and midfielder Brian Murray at Croke Park. And Seamus Bonner agreed that they were most fortunate to get over Offaly.
Mick, I think Donegal were very lucky last Sunday. Really, if you could say a team got out of jail on Sunday, Donegal was, you could term that, use that as a phrase. And our view, they were very, very lucky to be getting through to the semi-final on Sunday.
What do you think has gone wrong? Because you seem to have been playing much better in the first half of the National League.
Well, Donegal, since they qualified for the quarter-finals of the league, Donegal went to the beach and trained for a month on the beach and done very little football. And I think that showed up on Sunday, that they were really lacking in football practice.
So do you think will there be an all-football practice this week?
It'll be strictly all football and shooting practice this week now, leading up to the semi-final.
You did have a lot of injuries, though, in the last few months, didn't you?
We had a lot of injuries, but we have a pretty strong panel, and the fellas that filled in for the injuries done a good job, and some of them are staking their claim for their place now, and lads that are injured are going to find it hard to get their place back again.
Brian, you really don't know anything about Kildare?
No, I've never played against Kildare before, but I've been hearing great things about them at the moment, Micko, I've seen they've done a good job with them at the moment. So at the moment they're a team to be reckoned, so we'll not be taking them very lightly at the moment.
So what's your reaction to a team like that? Would you prefer to play a team you know or somebody? They are an unknown quantity to you.
Well, you have to come across these teams anyway if you want to succeed in winning, So, no, not really, we don't really mind at the moment.
But you will have had an advantage of having played in Division 1. They've been in the lower division.
Yeah, well, looking at us last Sunday, you wouldn't think that we were a Division 1 team. But we'll have to improve in that performance, so we will. Kildare at the moment are the improving team, where we are kind of stuck to the ground at the moment. So hopefully we'll improve this week. We're going, as Seamus says, we're going into the field next week or during the week here, and hopefully we'll improve on a few things where we went wrong last week.
How do you feel about coming back to Croke Park after being here as recently as August?
It's nice to get back. It's always nice to play on the main pitch in the country, so it is, and hopefully we'll do well.
Now, you've been around for a while, the present side. You're fairly settled, despite the changes that have been made through injuries, but you're a settled panel, at least.
Yeah, we've got a very strong panel at the moment. There's when you're in there in the first 15 at the moment, you're there, and you have to more or less play well to be kept there. And if you're not playing well, there's any one of 10, 12 players that can go in there now and take over.
That's good for the team, though. It puts pressure on the fellas who might be established like yourself.
That's true, it's very true. If you're not playing well, if you're not putting in the work, you'll surely be dropped.
Brian Murray. James McHugh. Onto that favourite left foot again. And it's as easy as that. McHugh. He eventually passes it back to Martin Gavigan. Now McGavigan pumps it up towards Bonner, and that's a nice flick off to Tommy Ryan. There's a chance here for Brian Murray. He's through. Unselfishly puts it across, and there's a brilliant goal.
Seamus, yourself and Brian McInniff, Brian a little earlier than you were with fairly good Donegal teams, but you never succeeded in getting to a National League final. The county's never been there.
That's true, Mick. To play with Brian and myself played with Donegal we won 3 Ulster Championships, but you can never call a team a good team unless they won a national title, and I think Donegal people are expecting a lot better from this team, and this team won't be called a good team if they don't qualify for a national final.
Do you think they're expecting too much? Is it putting pressure on the side, the expectations of the supporters?
Well, the supporters are expecting a lot at the moment, but I don't think the pressure will get through to the players. And Championship is their main target in Donegal at the moment, and anything after Sunday will be a bonus for Donegal.
Well, this will be Donegal's first visit to Croke Park since they played the All-Ireland semi-final there last August, a game that they lost despite getting some very good scores.
Donald Smith here playing his first All-Ireland football semi-final this afternoon. Brendan Riley. Brian Stafford playing about 45 metres and maybe 50 metres out from his own goal line for most of this match so far. Donald Reid trying to set up the full forward. Boyle with a shot, and Tony Boyle has put it over the bar. Declan Bonner on the left boot, needs to be good, and it is. Brian McAniff was saying he'd let the players out on the field make the decision themselves. Donald Smith, the goalkeeper. It's gone in. Brian Murray considering his options. Will it be Tony Boyle, we saw just a moment ago? Comes off Martin O'Connell, down towards Joyce McMullen. Donegal in a prominent position. McMullen here trying to somehow get through, taken away by Terry Ferguson. But only as far as Donald Reid. Remember, there are 2 points between the teams. Declan Bonner feeding it back to Donald Reid. Well directed and well saved by the goalkeeper. Oh, a slack clearance straight to Bonner. High, and it's over the bar, and there's just a 1-point differential. Manus Boyle. Oh, a blistering shot, and it's gone off the goalkeeper's fingertips. Donald Smith has put it over the crossbar.
So Donegal hoping to improve on that form when they return to Croke Park. While as Brian Murray agreed, they don't know much about Kildare, a team that certainly turned on the style with telling scores late in their quarter-final with Kerry.
Well driven forward by Martin Lynch, the one man that can spark a Kildare rally. Darren McKevitt, perhaps taking too much out of it. He hadn't the confidence really to go for his score, Darren McKevitt. And he's a little fortunate to get a second chance. And there's a goal here surely for Kildare. Yes, there is! A great score, and Tom Harris it was who crashed it home. Well, Kildare had been right out of luck in the early stages of the second half. They shot 4 wides in a row. Then Darren McKevitt, he hadn't really the confidence to go for a score. Suddenly it broke to him a second time, and he got a lovely ball through to Tom Harris, whose finish was clinical. There's a Kildare man running free. Johnny MacDonald. Read that one nicely. He has Jarlath Gilroy outside him. Johnny MacDonald electing to go it alone. It was a wise decision. Johnny MacDonald, the man who puts Kildare into the lead with 2 minutes left to play.
A fascinating pairing in that first semi-final. Well, the second one brings together 2 teams who are familiar with each other, even though they've never met in the semi-finals. Dublin play Roscommon at 3:45 with Tommy Sugrue of Kerry in charge. They're both recent semi-finalists, Roscommon having been in last year's semis, and Dublin qualifying in '89. And in fact, they met as recently as last December when the Dubs won their Division 1 clash easily. Dublin, of course, have been operating under a new management team this season. Former great goalkeeper Paddy Cullen was the unexpected choice as manager last October, and he was also joined by his former teammates Pat O'Neill and Jim Brogan. During the week, Mick Dunn called on Cullen's establishment, and he asked the manager if he was enjoying the whole thing.
I can't say I'm really enjoying it, but there is a certain buzz you get out of it. But a lot of the time it is kind of nerve-wracking, because from the time I used to play, where you could get involved and got it out of your system, you can't really do that now. Even after a game, you're still kind of hyped up.
But nevertheless, you have progressed since you took over. You must have seen something there, or you wouldn't have got involved.
No, it wasn't so much that I saw something there. It's just that I said to myself, if I don't do it, I'll never complain again. I mean, I could never cast any aspersions one way or the other. So I just felt that it was an opportunity to get involved, and I felt, yes, that there was something there. They were very unlucky over the last few years, so I hope that we'd be able to do something.
Do you think they were unlucky? It was just bad fortune?
I think so, yeah. There was a couple of games where they could have got through to an All-Ireland final and possibly won it, and they made a couple of mistakes on the day that just knocked them out. So I feel that the material is there.
So when you and the other selectors, Pat O'Neill and Jim Brogan, sat down the first time, what sort of football did you decide you wanted Dublin to play?
Well, we wanted to play a more direct style of football. I felt that the short game had been overplayed. I know a lot of teams are playing it and it's very effective, but certainly during the winter months it's not effective. I think a ball delivered quickly and long is a much better ball in wet conditions. When, you know, when the summer comes it may be different. We may have to change our tactics again, but it's worked very well for the winter for us.
You've been fairly consistent throughout the National League so far.
Yeah, well, we were thrown in early. You know, we were appointed on a Monday night, met the team on a Tuesday night, or whatever lads that were there, and had to go to Donegal on the following Sunday, so, and got trounced. And lucky enough, the Australian tour was on, gave us a chance to regroup and have a look at a few players, and we haven't looked back since. There was a little hiccup, I think, against Wicklow as well. We didn't play too well, but no, the material is still there, and I think the lads are tuned in.
But as you came through the division, first there was the game against Kerry. Now, you couldn't have reasonably expected to have won that as easily as you did.
No, actually, I was very surprised because Kerry have always been a strong team. There's always been good rivalry there. And after 10 minutes of the game, Kerry just collapsed. They were 3 points ahead. In fact, we got a goal, and then they just collapsed. So, and we went out outright winners there. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, a goal! Keith Barr. Dave Foran, all this while, Kerry down to 14 men. Maurice Fitzgerald, the injured player. Vinnie Murphy. Nicely forward for Keith Barr. Angled across. Oh, save by O'Leary. Brilliant save as Donald McCarthy was coming in. And it's there at the second attempt. The game picking up a notch or two, thankfully. Donald McCarthy. Back to Charlie Redmond. But still Kerry with just those 4 points on the scoreboard, all scored by Maurice Fitzgerald. Now under pressure once again. Again it's Vinnie Murphy, and that may well seal it.
You must have got some encouragement out of the game against Meath because they had such an upper hand over Dublin in recent years. Even though you didn't beat them, you did get a point out of that match.
Yeah, I think it was probably the result on the day was good because we had made a few changes due to injury. We did about 5 changes that day, which gave us an opportunity also to see some more players playing. And I think the result was good. It was a good game on the day, and it tells nobody anything for the 2nd of June. I mean, we just wound up level points, so it'll be all hinged on June.
What about Roscommon now in this semi-final? Obviously, you're not using the game you played them in December last when you hammered them.
No, and they would have learned far more from that game than we will. I mean, they're coming to Croke Park saying the last time we played these, they gave us a hiding. I mean, they didn't score in the second half. So they will have improved, I think, far much more than we will. We know what they're like, we know how to play them, but they will have learned an awful lot. So I would be very wary of Roscommon.
Were Dublin somewhat complacent against Wicklow?
I hope so. That's my hope. I suppose, you know, going out we were ready, prepared, we were fit, we planned our strategy. And on the day, it was just one dead game. It was it never lifted. As Tommy Carr said to me afterwards, they never actually got a second wind. You know, so the game never got up any momentum. It was played in a dead, calm atmosphere.
And perhaps the first goal came so quickly that might have led them into being lackadaisical.
Yeah, I think so. When you get a score up early on and, you know, you say they're a Division 3 team and then all of a sudden complacency sets in. And I believe that's what happened, and I hope that's what happened.
And that was the sort of a score that Wicklow badly needed at that stage of the game.
Yeah, thank God they didn't get it. But it is, yeah, that would have made the game completely different. I think it would have upped our game and it would have been played in a better atmosphere. I mean, a lot of people left the ground because it was just dead.
Well, they'll be more on their toes against Roscommon.
They will be more on their toes against Roscommon.
You've made sure of that since Sunday, have you?
Well, I've made sure of it, yeah. I hope they will do their job.
What do you say to a team like that when you meet them back in the dressing room or the next training session?
Well, a win is a win. That's the way I look at it on the Sunday. So you leave the dressing room and you smile and we won the game. And then on Tuesday we go through each individual's performance and see what went wrong. A lot of things did go wrong for us.
Of course, you know now that everybody's installing Dublin as favourites to win the league.
Yeah, well, I suppose with our record of coming out of Division 1, and they look on a Division 1 team as being the team, I suppose you can't blame them, but I would never take anything for granted. You know, it's a knockout now, and it could be anybody. I mean, Roscommon, you know, please God we get over Roscommon, and then we'll see what happens.
And hopefully you'll still be enjoying it.
Hopefully I'll still be enjoying it, yeah.
Paddy Cullen there, obviously looking forward to Sunday's match. And Dublin really stunned Wicklow last Sunday by taking an early lead, and the first of their 2 goals came as early as the 6th minute.
Niall Guyden, a good ball too to Donald McCarthy. Vincent Murphy got free of his marker to try for the point, Vinnie Murphy. And that one hangs right in front of the goal, and it's been punched in, and the goal is given. Well, it hung free just for a second. The goalkeeper, Dan Lee, was confused by it all, and Jack Sheedy it was who ran in and put it into the net. Fergus Daly punching it down. Only to Eamon Heary, however. Donald McCarthy knocking it to Charlie Redmond, who gets it through to Niall Guyden. Will he go for the goal, Niall Guyden? He's got inside his man, Donald Lenihan. He slipped it to Vincent Murphy. He can't miss from there. The ball's in the net. The goal to Dublin. Well, the Dublin forwards, they elaborated on it just a little bit, but Vincent Murphy was always free. And from point-blank range, it was easy for Vinnie Murphy.
Well, as we said, Dublin and Roscommon know each other reasonably well, but the Roscommon player who's most familiar with the Dubs is midfielder John Newton. Now, he plays his football with the Garda club in Dublin competitions. Well, he's been talking to Mick Dunn about Roscommon's disappointing record in Croke Park.
Well, in the last 12 months it hasn't been good now. We played here 3 times between league and championship, and we haven't won a match in the last 12 months here in Croke Park, but hopefully the advantage of playing here so often will stand to us on Sunday, and we'll break our duck on Sunday.
Are players conscious of that sort of thing when you're facing, say, a National League semi-final back in the stadium again?
Well, I think we played down last year in the semi-final 12 months ago, and I think it was Roscommon's first time in Croke Park for 5 or 6 years, and maybe it inhibited Roscommon on that occasion, but I think, as I said, the experience of playing in Croke Park twice since then will stand to us, and I don't think the players will feel any way inhibited now on Sunday.
So even if you were, you will be encouraged by the fact, though, that you beat Dublin, even though it was in Portlaoise in the quarter-final last year.
That's correct. A lot of people were speculating whether the game would take place in Croke Park or not, but you know, we feel we want to be here again in August and possibly September, and Dublin may be the team that we'll meet here in August in the All-Ireland semi-final, provided we both qualify. So I think, you know, to beat them here at this stage of the year would be a great psychological advantage to us.
I have to remind you, though, of your last meeting here with them, and that was in the league in December. That was a bit of a disaster.
Well, Mick, it was a funny game that day now. I think we led by 2 points maybe at half-time, and we led the game for 40 minutes, and I think Vinnie Murphy got a goal about 10 minutes into the second half, and, you know, they got another quick score after that, and we dropped our heads and fell away. You know, we probably left all our good football behind us in the first half that day, but hopefully we can sustain it now for the 60 minutes on Sunday.
That sort of thing was happening to you around that time in the National League. Something similar happened against Armagh when you had led much more than you led against Dublin.
That's correct. We had a quite inconsistent campaign. We struggled really away from home. We lost our 3 away matches, and we qualified really on our home form. But we went up to Cavan there last Sunday, and, you know, it was our first away win in the league, so hopefully it will put us in the right frame of mind for next Sunday.
But Tyrone did have an awful lot of wides.
Well, they did, but
you
I think
weren't too accurate yourselves.
Well, I wouldn't say that now. I think, you know, on possession, Tyrone probably had the winning of the game, but I think it's a credit to our own forwards that most of our moves resulted in scores.
Whatever about your record in Croke Park, you are a very experienced team over the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, I think the present team basically has been together for 5 or 6 years now. We've been contesting kind of finals really for the last 5 or 6 years. And I don't think experience will go against us on Sunday, even though we're probably missing 3 very experienced defenders. But last Sunday, a couple of young lads came in there and done very well. So, you know, they won't be overawed in Croke Park.
Now, what about your own personal battle with, say, Jack Sheedy, because you're club members with the Garda in Dublin?
That's right. Myself and Jack are great friends going back a couple of years now. Jack is playing very well at the moment now. I was very disappointed personally with my own form last Sunday. So, you know, we'll have a bit of a tussle now if Jack comes out around midfield.
Will you still be friends on Sunday night?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I think so, yeah.
It hasn't been all disappointment for Roscommon against the Dubs. Now, as you heard John Newton say there, they had a good win over Dublin a year ago in the quarter-final played in Portlaoise.
Referee saw a foul by Vinnie Murphy. Junior McManus lets it run on to Tony McManus. Plenty of people calling for the ball inside. John Newton giving it plenty of height. A rather hopeful one, struck with uncanny accuracy. Vincent Glennon. Donlan once again. Remember, the sides are level. And it's finally Seamus Killoran. The man who's just come in is Tommy Lennon in place of Andy Leyland. Junior McManus, meanwhile, has got his third point. Paul Hickey. Seamus Killoran. Roscommon needing a score from this attack. They've missed a couple of late. And Killoran has produced exactly what they require. Here's Pádraig McNeill. Killoran. From Paul Early. For Vincent Glennon. Looking for the opening score. Here's Tony McManus. The goalkeeper's out. A goal! Here's McManus again. An unpredictable talent. Getting it into Tony McManus, his clubmate. Another goal!
Well, it promises to be an afternoon of great value in Croke Park on Sunday. And if you can't get there, you can see highlights of the semi-finals here on Network 2 on Sunday night at 25 to 11. And by the way, if you want to see more of the action from last Sunday's Croke Park matches, Kildare and Kerry, Dublin and Wicklow, then watch Sports Stadium tomorrow afternoon at about 2:10. Well, in Camogie, their national leagues also continue this weekend in both junior and senior grades. In the senior league,